Center existed. And I thought that the only way to be a wrestler was you had to go to Florida and work at the Performance Center. So I was like, okay, like when I'm 18, I'm going to go and move to Florida and go to the Performance Center and chase my dream. But then I found this Instagram page, Arizona Wrestling Federation, and I was like, what is this? And then I was like, whoa, these are wrestlers. I'm like, whoa, you can train to become a wrestler. So I took my phone and I was like, Mom, look at this. And I was freaking out. She was like, I don't think you should do that. And I said that they had a kids program, and I was like, that's really rare. I'm finding out is really rare. Like, most of the time you cannot start until you're 18. So I was like, Mom, let's do it. So we go, and we have a very hard time finding the building. Like, it's in a warehouse, so it's like, it's very hidden, and there's no signs outside or anything. And I'm just like, okay, so we go in, and like, blah, 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 blah. So I did the kids class for, I want to say like, a year-ish. And, so, yeah, no, it was a year, because it was like 14, and then I did that for like a year, and it was kind of just like playful. Like, it wasn't like you're serious about like getting to wrestle in a match. It was more so a kids class. So it's like, it's not nowhere near as intense as like the adult class, which like, so eventually I was talking to the head trainer at the place, Lawrence Tyler, and I was like, I really want to do this. And like, he was like, you look like you're serious about this. And so me and this other girl, we both came up to the adult class, and it was crazy different. Like, there was no filter. Like, they were not afraid to say anything. And I love that. Like, cause as a kid, I was just like, you know, when you're a kid, like, you want to hear the truth and you want to be with adults. So like, I started doing the adult class, I think when I was 15 years-ish old. I was probably a little bit over 15. And, it was just fun. And like, I learned what it actually takes. Like, I went from being like, oh, that's okay on your roll, and to like, dude, what are you doing? Get the F out there and do a roll and jump out and make sure it looks good. Like, you're getting paid to do this. You're wrestling in front of people. Like, so it's just like the whole like structure and mentality towards wrestling wasn't like a hobby. This is my life. And like, I became more diehard about it. Obviously when I first started the kids class, I was not as serious. Like, this is the serious I've ever been about it right now. And I am like working my butt off now to the point where like, if I literally laugh at how like I used to treat this, because it hurts me actually how I used to like treat this, because my whole mindset and perspective on wrestling has changed. And I think it's because I'm finally starting to get a little bit confident. And it's like, I will never get to the point where I develop an ego, because I feel like there is way too many people with egos. But like, I'm finally starting to get a little bit more confident, and I'm like, I can do this. Like, it's me constantly telling myself, like, I'm going to work my butt off to get here, and I think it's possible. I just got to keep getting better. Like, I did this wrong, I'm going to fix it. Like, it's more so less like a hobby. It's my life, and it's my passion, and it's my drive, so.
I love that you said that you are confident, but you're making sure you don't have an ego. The fact that you have the mental thought process to actually separate the two and like really work to not have an ego it really shows that, you know, you are really dead set on this and you know exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, so for a period of when I got injured, I literally, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know, like, for the first time ever in my life, I questioned wrestling, which is, like, heartbreaking to me to think about. But I was so upset that I got injured because I was starting to wrestle on shows consistently. I was about to turn 18, so, like, I could finally start wrestling on more independent shows. So I was just, like, I was just heartbroken, and it was so hard for me to watch wrestling. It was so hard for me to be around it. Like, I would still come to the shows at AWF once a month, and I would still go to practice every single week. And I remember my coach talking to me, like, every single week, like, what are you doing in this downtime that it will make you better for when you come back? And I was just like, I didn't want to go to practice. Like, I didn't want to do anything. Like, I don't think I've ever been at a point, because I feel like I'm a generally positive person, and I'm always really happy. But I've never had that time in my life. I was literally heartbroken. And I'm like, I know it's not that serious because it's literally just an ACL, and people come back from it all the time. But, like, in my head, that's the only injury I've ever had and everything. So, like, in my head, I was just, like, so heartbroken. So, like, my coach was getting on me about, like, why are you doing this? What is your reason for being here? Are you just wasting your time? Like, you just got this surgery, paid a ton of money for what? And so, like, that got me thinking. And then when I came back, I was still kind of, like, either not watching wrestling, not putting in the work, not, you know, trying to grow my social media, not looking up all the people that I wrestled before I wrestled them, not doing things that, like, you should do as a wrestler, like the bare minimum. And then from there, if you ever want to be a star, you have to go above and beyond. I wasn't, like, hitting up promotions. I wasn't doing anything. So when I first came back in December, I was kind of still in, like, that recovery mindset to where, like, I felt like I wasn't trying. So the second that, like, I want to say, like, around January, February time, I was like, I can't live like this anymore. Like, I can't let wrestling be on the back burner. Like, I had applied to go to GCU, which is Grand Canyon University in Arizona. I applied to go there to get a sports and entertainment management degree. And, like, so the way it's set up, I'm still in high school right now. So I go to high school and also community college. So I'm going to graduate in May with my associate's degree. Like, so I'm graduating from the college, and I'm also graduating from the high school. So the way that that's set up, I would only have to go to college for a year and a half. But ever since I started giving my all to wrestling, I totally don't even care. Like, for the longest time, it was like, I want a backup plan. I want to be safe. And now I'm just like, I don't care. If I have to live on this, like, in my car, if I have to go to these shows barely making money, I don't care because I'm doing what I love. And I'm, like, trying to justify paying a ton of money for a degree out of college. Just, this is what I want to do. Like, my heart, my mind, my focus, it's all set on it. And just having that flip, because it was my coach, and then also one of the guys' dads, his name's Bob Horbacheski. He literally, so he got COVID, and, like, he had to get a double lung transplant, and, like, he literally almost died. And so, like, the fact, like seeing his story and being around him and him telling me, like, you can't just, if you want to wrestle, you have to go all in. You have to, and it's like, he's like, obviously, don't be stupid. Obviously, keep your job, do what you're doing, grow your mind, expand everything, but you have to go all in. And, like, the fact that, like, he's saying that, and, like, he knows how short life is, and, like everybody, when he was going through that, we all, like, got the perspective, like, oh my God, like, life is really short. And so I'm just so inspired by him every day, and I'm so inspired by my coach, and they both just give me the best advice I think I've ever gotten in my life, and it's just like, go all in. And he was like, if you want to do this, if you want to be a superstar, if you want to ever make it, you have to eat, sleep, breathe wrestling. You have to put wrestling over everything in your life. And so I've had that mindset since, like, January, February, and I have done so much more. I have gotten so much better. I, like, literally always think about wrestling now. It's like my whole mindset towards it totally flipped. Like, I'll be in class, and, like, even today, like, I was in class and I was, like, looking at merch stuff, or I was, like, looking at more companies that I could hit up. Like, I have totally changed my mindset. Like, people, like, my friend came around, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm trying to see, like, how much money I have to pay for, like, ordering these stickers, like, how much profit I'll make off of it, and, like, that stuff. Because I always put my profit towards, like, buying more merch. So it's just, like, I have totally flipped my mindset towards wrestling and made sure that, like, I'm watching everything, that I'm learning, that I'm looking up new wrestlers, that I'm following and talking to people, picking people's brains, like, going to seminars, going to practice every single week, not just to go to practice because I don't want to miss a practice, but going because I genuinely want to be there and want to get better and want to work on specific things. Like, that whole mindset really flipped in the past few months, and I feel like I've been doing so much more and, like, actually genuinely love it. Like, I used to be like, oh, like, I might not go to practice tonight because I want to go to work and I want to make money. And now I'm just like, dude, F work. Like, I want to wrestle and I want to be here. And I'm missing, like, so many school things. Like, in a couple weeks is my prom. I'm like, I don't care. I want to go wrestle. So I'm going to California next week. It's next week. Instead of going to prom, because I genuinely am like, I know I'll never get these years back, but also, like, I'll never get these years back in terms of wrestling. And to me, wrestling is way more important than prom. Like, I went last year. I'll be fine.
I love that your mindset flipped like that, and I love it's a good thing that you went through the injury and that sadness and depression era because this came out of it. And
yes.
I'm so glad you had somebody in your life that kind of flipped that switch for you of like, what are you doing while you're not wrestling or while you're not doing this so that you can be better when you come back? I mean, there's so many people like, well, we'll talk about like the returns in general. Like when Seth Rollins came back from his ACL tear, he was a completely different person. Triple H multiple times has torn his quad and has come back and he's a different person. Like when people come back from injuries, it makes the heart grow fonder for the fans that haven't seen you in however long. And again, when you're gone, you aren't, just because you're not in the ring anymore doesn't mean that you're not still a wrestler and you're not still needing to be better. And like you said, looking at merch, seeing who's out there that you can actually work with, see what seminars you could take, whose brains you could pick. Like, I love that you are actually now even more devoted than you were pre-injury.
Yeah, it's crazy because, and I feel like I'm genuinely like getting a little bit better at what I do. Like, I'm way more confident in matches. I feel like I'm messing up a lot less because there was like I'm always really hypercritical of myself, and obviously like you will be because you're your own biggest critic. But I used to get like so down on myself, especially when I was only wrestling once a month, and sometimes not even like for shows. And so like it would leave such a sour taste in my mouth for so long. It would make me like, okay, like I need to go to work to escape wrestling. Now it's like I don't want to escape wrestling. I don't want to have my mind on anything else. Like it's like an obsession. My coach is like, you'll literally like fall like to the point where it's like you fall in love with wrestling as much as you like fall in love with someone. Like wrestling is the love of my life, and I'm sure like hopefully one day I'll meet somebody. But at this point in time, I don't want to because I want to devote my life to this and I want to give it my all because you can't give your all to two things. And it's like if I don't give wrestling my all, I don't think I will make it. So it's like
I think
that's what I'm like. I don't want to have like a relationship. I don't want to have like, I mean, even friendships. Like in high school, I have lost so many of my friends recently because it's just like I never at school. I never like, and I get it. Like if I was in their position, I would want people who made effort to hang out with me. And I do genuinely care about my best friends and stuff, but I know that they want me to succeed and they want me to do my things. So I kind of just like, I miss a lot of school. So it's just like when I'm there, like they talk to me and stuff, but like I also feel like they're like, oh, let's like focus our time on people who actually like, you know, want to be around. I do want to be around them. It's just like wrestling is the most important thing in my life and I don't want to ever have to hurt somebody because of that.
No, I mean, you're 100% correct. Like, it's the Ron Swanson quote, never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. So, like, what would be the point of having your feet in, your toes dipped in two different waters when you could just cannonball into one and make that your life? I mean, obviously, you do need to have that mental break of something that you are able to just kind of, like, clear your brain out or whatever and allow, the wrestling to have somewhat of a break in your brain and your body. But at the same time, I've talked to so many wrestlers that will watch different TV shows and different movies kind of also to be, to be able to talk to, certain people about, I guess pop culture and stuff, but also they're watching it as a wrestler, looking at it thinking, okay, I can take that from that character. I like that line. Let me use that sometime. That kind of thing.
That is so funny because, like, that was another thing, like, when I was injured, I wouldn't watch wrestling. I would watch shows, and I was watching the shows to watch the shows, not to, like, watch it. Now, and my mindset, I don't even know how it happened. Like, just one day I was like, I'm changing. But no, like, I haven't watched this show in a while, which is bad because, like, I feel like right now my biggest weakness is my character and, like, how to portray that. And it was funny because I was listening to Gabe Sapolsky. He does Twitter Spaces every week, and he was